Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Downhill Rally course. This time we have another 3 vehicles, the first one being the Bolide Not. I think that's how you say it. Whatever. So last time I brought on the dummies to drive the cars, but this time this car would not allow me to do so. So it is just the car, and it is a very nice car. I was going to go with the GT4 variant, but this one has more power. And for whatever reason, I thought the fact that it had more power was going to make it somehow still easy to drive. I forgot the fact that it has no spoiler, so the back has no grip whatsoever. Also, as you'll notice in the telemetry, I'm really not using much brakes. You can see I barely even touched them. The thing locked up, went sailing, then I slammed on the brakes hoping it would do something, but it was too late. And this was a reoccurring theme with this car. Up in the big S's, or even down here on the straight, you can see I barely even got on them. There was only 40-ish%. The car is very quick, and I never actually had problems with it in the higher speed area where the Rock of Doom hangs out on the outside. But it's these smaller parts in the bit more, trickier spots where it wouldn't turn as much as I would like, or it would turn too much. This is a first. We start and park it on a rock. Got out a little bit here because, again, the brakes would lock up under like 15%. 15% pressure and the brakes would lock up and it sent you sailing off the course. You can see the tire really exploded on that crash. This one, again, barely on the brakes. It caught the car out and it just barely went over the edge and then goes sliding down the hill on its roof. Very slow slide, but a slide. Coming up to the dirt area, I was doing okay. Brakes locked up and sent it spinning around. The brakes are the biggest issue with this car. They're very powerful and they will stop the car. They'll just typically stop the car backwards. I could feel the car wanting to pull off the side, so instead I tried to turn it back, thinking I was going to just slide through the corner, but instead it had already caught itself, sent it into the wall. This time it caught the side of the bridge and eats the bridge. This car, I don't know what in my head said this won't be that bad to drive. Like, it's going to be fine. It'll be a fast car. Oh, it's a fast car, all right, but it's also fast to kill itself as well. Did get a good run out of it though. You got to see every crash, and overall it was just a matter of being very, very cautious with how much I used the brakes. You can see the brake telemetry there, the red bar on the left. It's barely being used. Even the gas is barely being used. That's the green, and it just doesn't. It has so much grip that it will go around no matter what you do. Gas, brake, going down this hill is such a tricky thing in a car like this. A very fun car though. You can see here, coming through here, I was really pretty confident driving it down here. It has good turn-in, so you can be pretty thorough, and it'll go up to 100, no problem. But again, wanting to make sure I don't spin around with the brakes, I had to get a little quickly onto them. First gear though was good to get it going, though I had to be very careful because I thought it was going to catch and spin at any moment. Now, ordinarily coming up here, there's a little graphical thing that happens where the lights of this wall shut off. I don't understand what happens over there, but it has been working very well for a braking point for me. But I had to be a little bit sooner than that with this car because of how like strong the brakes are. Coming down the dirt again, you know, if you're going to be dealing with something that's very tricky, that dirt hairpin can be so tricky. Very hesitant as I come across the dirt, though, considering the last time I had hit the dirt, I ended up finding a tree. This time I was like, I really don't want to do that. The car tried to slide out on me, but maintain. And then as I came up to the water, I wasn't sure what would happen, and the nose went so far up in the air, I thought the engine was going to waterlog itself right there. I thought it was just going to stop dead in the river. The fun thing or hard thing with this car, I still don't know if it's fun or terrifying, is every time you touch the gas, even if you're barely even up to like 30%, you just feel the car wanting to go around no matter what. It's just trying to spin. Did get it through the course though. And a little bit of a spin for some victory donut there, and stop over by the little rundown shack over here. The car did make it. Of course, no problem. Now, the second vehicle, I decided, well, we had the Rally Sunburst. Why not go with the Rally Covet? They're both really good cars, and the Covet is usually the first car everybody starts with in the game. So, well, aside from the D-Series. But why not run the Covet? It's a good front-wheel drive car. Should be easy enough, especially after the Bolide there. And it's polar opposites. You know, the Bolide being rear-wheel drive, still leaving its burnout in the road here. The Covet being front-wheel drive. I figured this should be a lot simpler. Though first gear in this car is super, super short, and it consistently gave me issues. Expecting it to do funny things like the Bolide, I was much more cautious with the brakes, but you can do some stupid things with this car and get away with it remarkably well. You can see it comes up into this corner, it's really no problem. The front wheel drive pulling it around. But the common issue with a front wheel drive car is the mega understeer. And forgetting that, wanting to follow the Bolide's line, went out wide, and Rock of Doom claims another car. Had to get its car in, after all. We've been missing it a couple times lately. It truly destroyed that car. Here we go though, we got again through all the big S's, and we come up here. I thought I could get the slide, but it just wasn't going to do it, and it rolled itself over. I didn't think this car was top heavy enough to actually roll itself, but got me. Tried to go a little bit too quick, ended up locking up the brakes. You know, that is the issue. The car wasn't too badly damaged, but its time was ruined. We came up here, went a little off-roading. It's a rally car, it's fine. So I said, I'll carry on, get through the rest of the course. And you can see, you know, it was carrying on just fine. Well, karma has it, and a rock destroys the front of the car. And there you go. You can see the front wheel is just, it's no longer connected. Again, trying to carry so much speed, got ramped off the Rock of Doom this time, and finished off by the bridge. I was really trying to carry like that same line and same speed that I was with the Bolide, but the front wheel drive of this car would not allow it to do so. Pass the bridge. Find a new rock to have some fun with. The Covet does have one strong suit, is that it does break apart very well. Some vehicles, their destruction models can be a little underwhelming. this car's destruction model is fantastic. Of course, though, not too many tries, and I did manage to get the car through once I remembered I'm not driving a supercar, I'm driving a front-wheel drive rally car. And you could get away with doing some stupid things with the car as long as you gave it good braking. And I didn't think I was actually going to get away with that. I thought for sure the car was either going to roll or it was going in the hole. And miraculously, I ended up pulling off, keeping it on the road, and continued on. But yeah, as I said, like, with this car, you can drive it surprisingly hard as long as you remember to use the brakes and just keep it under control. You can be as stupid as you want with the throttle now. See, we get up to what, 90 before I have to get on the brakes coming up here. I could have probably gone a little further, but this corner is so sharp, it's really deceptive. Every time I think I've started braking too soon, I have to remind myself that that corner requires you to be going very slow. And once I got onto the dirt with this car, it felt so good. Like, I kind of ruined it the first time I hit the dirt, as you saw, but that was because I was trying to push it so hard. It wasn't going to have any of that. Hit the water, and it kind of does a little skipping float across. Not too big of a deal, but it definitely did get slowed down by it. And then we come up to the dirty hill, where it has no problem climbing up, but the understeer is the biggest problem with this car. And unlike the Bolide, it's not sliding around and it crosses the line. Now, I thought this was a super fast time. It made it around really fast. And some reverse donuts because front wheel drive. And again, first gear is so short, you just touch the gas when you're at a stop and it just spins itself to death. But yeah, a really good little car. Definitely, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Now, the third vehicle is, yeah, it's a Canon. Mostly because I was messing around before I even started recording, and I was just looking through things, and I saw the Canon, and I was like, you know, I've messed around with the Canon before, but I remembered, doesn't it move? I think it can move. So I actually kind of rolled it up and down the road a little bit before, and then I had a thought, what if I take it through the course? Oh yeah, the cannon fires too. So it's a proper cannon. You can raise and lower the barrel and everything. I think I even lowered the barrel down. I don't know, hoping for aerodynamics or something. Either way, it's literally a cannon. But yeah, I rolled it around and I was like, I only have one question. Can this thing climb the dirt hill at the bottom? So I did the whole recording, not even sure if it was going to stay in. If it didn't climb the hill, it wasn't even going to make it. You would have never seen this. So spoiler alert, it can in fact climb the hill. But I didn't realize that, one, apparently this thing can go 15 miles an hour down a hill, which is kind of crazy. But nevertheless, it does in fact roll down the hill. I literally, because I have my wheels and pedal, so I'm literally just very smoothly turning the wheel because I'm trying to keep, you know, on the racing line and all of that. But I just had my foot fully depressing the gas there. I really had no idea what was going to happen. Now, this is sped up to 2 times the normal speed, by the way. So if it looks like it's actually going pretty fast, it wasn't. But Yeah, so the weird thing with this vehicle is that the back wheels actually are a majority of how this vehicle functions. It kind of forklifts its way around, so if you look very carefully at the back, you'll notice that the wheels actually turn back and forth. Like, you'll see it coming up here in a second. And the weight of the cannon, I didn't expect to have any difference. You can actually remove the barrel. So I tried removing the barrel before I did the run just to see if it would do anything, or after I did the run. I just wanted to see if it would do anything different. And no, without the barrel, it doesn't really change very much. It goes the same speed regardless, but you can see the back wheels are turning there. That's the wheels that's actually making it do everything. I believe the idea behind this vehicle is that it's being pushed by people, because that's how they would be moved back whenever these cannons were commonly used. Now I kind of figured something out about it rolling down this hill coming up here, and it was that I have to be careful with it. It still can't even go over 13. It only goes 15 down a hill. But coming up here, you see I let off the gas, and that was because I noticed the barrel was actually giving it weight, which was bouncing the only wheels that are giving it any kind of control off of the ground. So that was terrifying. You can see it runs way wide. But once you get it around the corner, full throttle again, no problem. It was a very strange thing having all of the control back on the rear end, because the cannon actually did have its own weight. So had I done it without the barrel, it would have not had that problem and probably stayed more stable. But what fun would that be? So, continuing along. Again, this entire thing is sped up to twice its normal speed. I considered even faster, but 30 didn't seem like a horrible speed to show it at. I was concerned about the water. I was like, with how slow this is going, is it going to make it? Sure enough. No problems at all. And then it climbs up the hill. And I really didn't want another DNF like I had with the with the big rig. The big rig was horrible. But no problems. The cannon does make it, though a lot of bouncing coming out of the rear end. Again, that barrel did more than I thought it was going to. And eventually, so now it's back into normal speed. You can see way slower. Eventually it does cross the line. It was doing a little endo there with a cannon. That's something I never really thought I'd be saying. But, you know, I was just laughing more so as I had this idea, like, I'm going to drive a cannon down a hill. Like, these are words that don't make sense. Driving a cannon. You notice I have a little special thing going down at the end of this little runway thing here. But out of curiosity, like, every time I stopped by this little shack, I'd never actually checked out what was inside of it, so I just wanted to see, and turns out they actually modeled boxes into this shack. Who knows why? But anyway, back to the plan with the large metal object over here. I thought, what would be better than putting a cannon inside of a cannon? So, lined it up. And this cannon you can actually load cars into, so I might use this later on. Not sure how, but I might figure it out. I mean, I suppose I could, like, have that be what I do with every car if it makes it, load it into the cannon and fire it. But the cannon didn't actually seem quite as powerful as I was hoping. I don't know if there's a way to turn that up. You can see the cannon does fire, and then I had the thought, well, what if I try and fire the cannon as I fire the cannon out of the cannon? There's too many cannons in this. So there we go. Swap it over, raise up the cannon, ready to fire. And really didn't know how high I wanted to set the arc. The cannon inside is a lot heavier than I thought. But I do get everything hooked up and the cannon does get fired. And you can see the wood actually does get bent and warped. And those back wheels, well, all the wheels will bend and break apart. Sadly, not as awesome as I had hoped, but it does launch a pretty good distance. With that, let's get on to the times. And here we have the Rally Covet. So the fastest time was the Rally Covet with a 2:36.05, and that puts it 3 seconds shy of the Sunburst. A really good time, all things considering, because it does get itself up into 5th place overall. That Drag Moonhawk had so much clearance. That's going to be a hard car to beat because it handled so well and didn't really have many issues overall. But the Rally Covet was fun. It was just kind of let down by its massive amounts of understeer that were really hard to catch out. On to the second set of times. We then have, number 10 coming in. We've got the Bolide Knot. Problem with that car was once it got to the dirt, it wasn't really going to do very well. And it couldn't get enough of a time going on the tarmac because it had so many braking issues. You just could not push the car much harder or you were going to die. And then last is, of course, go figure, the Cannon with an 8:38.81. I don't know if the Cannon should be above the DNF truck or below, but I'm going by time here, so it is slower than the DNF truck. Either way, it was all a joke, so whatever. But with that, we're done. I'll see you guys next time, where I'm not sure what we're going to throw down the hill yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. Have a good one. And where's my record?